Hi guys, watch me take my 3-week-old gel set to this using Polygel. Alright guys, bear with me. I am very new to the nail world, so I'm probably going to be doing some stuff that's cringe-worthy, but just remember your girl's new. So we're going to be cutting the nails down to size or close to it, giving myself some room to work with because we will be filing the nails throughout this process. I thought this just made more sense than removing the gel polish when I'm not even going to be keeping this length. Now I'm taking an e-file with this sanding bit. I have no clue what the RPM I used during this video because the particular e-file that I have, the gauge doesn't have the RPM numbers on it. I have been working my way up. I'm a little bit scared of the e-file because once you have that sanding bit on and that thing cuts you, it's not fun. You don't play with that. So I've been taking my time working my way up in terms of speed. But what I'm doing here is just removing the gel polish that I had on. It's the easiest way, in my opinion, to do it. You can use a hand file. You don't want to soak it off if you intend on keeping the tips on. So this is just the easiest way to do that. So at the cuticle area, I'm doing my best to make the nail extension flush to the nail bed. Honestly, like I mentioned before, I am new to this whole e-file thing and just nails in general, so I didn't do the best at this with the e-file. Some people could make it really good and not have to use a hand file later down, but I decided to just do what was comfortable with the e-file and then finish off with the hand file. So I went ahead and switched out the bit to one that was what I think is good at making that nail extension flush to the nail bed. I just like this bit for this particular purpose. Is it what it's meant for? I have no clue. If anybody has a clue, they can tell me in the comment section down below, but I just find that this works the best for me for this particular task. Now your girl got about 50 million different hand file. I really need to get some new ones because I had to be going back and forth. But what I'm really doing here is just making sure that that extension and nail bed area is flush as possible. Yeah, that's what I'm doing here. Like I mentioned before, you could probably get this done with the e-file, but your girl's a chicken, so I played it safe. At this step, I went ahead and shaped the nails. It's just going to make it a bit easier when you've applied the polygel and you've done all that jazz. You're still going to need to do a bit more shaping, but it does make it easier. Now, none of y'all don't come for me because my technique is probably very shitty. Your girl is still in the learning process, so leave me alone. Now we're going to take this double-sided cuticle pusher along with these cuticle nippers, cutters. Not quite sure what these are called, but one of those thingies. And I switched out the bit again. Honestly, I wouldn't have used this one if I could do it over. I'd use the one that I used after this, but it is what it is. And we're also taking the Sally Hansen Instant Cuticle Remover to aid in the whole removal of our cuticles. Now, I swear by this, it does not remove the cuticles, it does soften it tremendously. Because when you push back those cuticles, that hurts. It hurts. And this just makes the process so much easier. Then we're just gonna let that sit for a couple seconds and then we remove the product. with the e-file, I just get rid of any excess dead skin that's still on the nail. I know some people don't do all of what I just did. They just go in straight with the e-file, but this is just what's comfortable for me at the moment. It works. I'm good with it. With the cuticle cutters slash nippers, whatever they're called, I get rid of that excess skin that we would have pushed away with the cuticle pusher and the bit. For me, if I can feel myself cutting it away, then I probably shouldn't be cutting it. That's just how I judge it. I know it's a nervous process, but you want to get rid of the cuticles because you don't want that to cause lifting later on. Now we're taking the Model 1's Dehydrator. I absolutely love Model 1s as a brand. They're super affordable. I think their products are pretty decent quality. So we're just using that to dehydrate the nails, get rid of any oil. And then this right here, this product right here, the primer, is the shiznit. Now I do 2 coats of this for insurance, but why I love this is before I started using a primer, my nails would lift and I would get water fungus. So some of my nails look green, some of it is honestly curry chicken, curry goat, the works. But I think about 2 or 3 of my nails have water fungus because in the past, when I wasn't using the primer, it would lift and water would get stuck on me there, and yeah. So this has been a game changer. It has not happened since I started to use this thing. Now we're gonna go in with the Kuzari base coat. I bought a Polygel kit from them, so I can't say if they're the best, but they certainly do the job. So applying the base coat to the area that we're going to be applying the Polygel, so that's right at the new growth area and a bit onto the nails, and then we're going to cure it for 60 seconds. I'm taking this double-sided brush and spatula. All of these things came in the kit, and the Kuzari Polygel, I think it's the shade 7 if my memory serves me right, 7. And I also have a container with some alcohol in it as my dipping solution. Now I like to dip the spatula into the alcohol when I'm squeezing the Polygel onto it. It just makes it not stick to the spatula because Polygel is super sticky. And I'm just looking to see, is that enough? Honestly, I did not need that second piece of bead, but you live and you learn. Now we're just going to apply it to the nails. I apply it pretty close to the cuticle simply because it's a small amount of product. I don't have a lot of product working with to move around, so I just put it relatively close to the cuticle area. I prefer the patting motion. I think that's the best in terms of placing the product where you want it, and then when you're trying to even it out, then I will swipe. With Polygel, you want to have the right amount of liquid. If there's not enough liquid, then it will stick to your brush. If there's too much, you find that the Polygel will start to move around and you don't want that. So you're playing it by ear, honestly. As you can see, I took the spatula side to kind of scrape up the edges because it was touching my cuticle. You want to make sure that, not cuticle, my skin. You want to make sure that the Polygel is not on your skin, because if it's there, it will cause lifting, but it's not that big of a deal. You can always remove it with your e-file or hand file once you have cured the Polygel. So what I'm doing here is removing the excess Polygel, because with the previous hand, what I had done was just try to spread it out, but because it's not the right amount of Polygel for the length nails, there were a lot of unevenness in it, so it was a struggle for me as a beginner to try to even that out with the e-file or even my hand file. So I felt it best this time around to just remove the excess and then thin it out from there, so I have the even surface working with. And once I've done that, I'm going to pop it underneath the LED lamp for 60 seconds, and when when I've completed all fingers, I pop it in one last time for 120 seconds. Now I'm just spraying some alcohol on the nails to remove this sticky layer so it's easy for us to file away. And then I'm going to take the e-file, well, the bit that I wish I'd used for cleaning up the cuticle, to now make the cuticle area look flush. You know, like our nails are naturally like this, all voluptuous and juicy. So that's what I'm doing now with the nails. Now, once we're done with the cuticle area, I went back and forth with my many files to smooth out the area, make sure it's even, the apex is looking nice, to also make sure that, I don't know the terminology, so bear with me, but that area from your nails to the extension, right in those little crivets, that those are looking nice and smooth and just shaping the nails. You know, all that jazz. Don't come for me because I know my technique is not the best. Leave me alone, please and thank you. Now I'm going in with a buffing block. I know some people skip this step because they say the smooth surface allows for chipping to happen with gel polish, but I haven't had that issue personally, so I don't know. Now I'm using the Kuzuri base coat and top coat to finish off my set. I lost the footage of me painting my nails. I could cry. But here I'm just showing you the different polishes I use with the numbers on the screen if you're interested in purchasing any of these Model 1's nail polish. I love them. They're affordable. They're great for beginners. Yeah, so now I'm taking the base coat and applying a thin, nice layer to the nails. And then I pop it into the LED light for 60 seconds before I go in with the nail polish. You know, that footage that I lost. So I'm taking this Ga and N rhinestone gel. I also use this for gel X sets. I'm gonna do my best to link everything that I used in the description box down below. So I just used those rhinestones. I lost the footage for me applying these, but all I did was put a dot of that gel in the area that I wanted the rhinestone and just popped it in. And then we have the final beautiful product. I have attempted to refill my nails quite a couple times. This is my first time using Polygel to do that, and I loved the way it turned out. I love how my nails look. I am very proud of them. Thank you very much for a beginner. Your girl did good. So that is it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope I helped somebody who is new to doing their nails. And yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.